Let's say you were the political leader of a very small but culturally powerful island with a sturdy people and an honored heritage. At one point, you owned like the entire world. You colonized all of Western civilization. Well, anyway, you have been a sovereign people for thousands of years. Nobody has ever been able to invade you or to really step foot on your shores. And yet, in the modern era, you invited barbarians into your homes and homelands, millions of them, from some of the most savage places on earth. Even though untold generations died in order to ensure that your island would remain free and culturally pure, you decided to commit suicide and sacrifice your nation. And now beheadings and stabbings and extrajudicial killings and barbarian activities like cousin marriages or rape gangs are commonplace in your island. And as a leader overseeing that chosen downfall, you somehow expect the people to just roll over, but they don't. In fact, they rise up and march through the streets and call for your resignation. And eventually, your failings add up. And people realize that it's not just incompetence, it's just total malevolence. You actually hate your own people. And something that's happening actually across the world with globalist leadership. And the far left has no answer for this. The far right does. Keir Starmer is about to resign, ladies and gentlemen. We're very excited about it. We covered this, but you never know. These kind of things can just be water cooler gossip. You pick up a little something online and it can all be fake. But according to British media and insiders in 10 Downing Street, Britain's failed globalist Marxist prime minister who has overseen the wholesale destruction of British culture, who is the single most unpopular prime minister in British history, is set to resign. This, according to the Telegraph, the paper of record, especially if you're a left-winger and Labour. The senior government official told the Telegraph that Sir Keir Starmer was realizing that the game is up and is now turning on how he could shore up his legacy. What's next? They go on to say that Starmer will resign on Monday. Keir Starmer, who has presided over the mass rape and murder of Brits, while head of prosecutions as Prime Minister, is set to resign UK on Monday, according to English media. So we have a date and a time now. Starmer is expected to resign Monday and set out orderly. Starmer is expected to resign on Monday. Oh boy. Here we go. The Prime Minister now accepts that his time has run out as Labour Prime Minister. Keir Starmer is preparing to set the timetable for his departure and a triumphant return for somebody named Andy Burnham, also a World Economic Forum stooge, and a left-winger who probably will be worse, perhaps, than Keir Starmer. The Prime Minister is understood to have reached the conclusion that his position is no longer tenable after a conversation in recent days with cabinet members, 10 Downing Street advisors, leaders of the party, and donors. Although Starmer is spending the weekend talking his future with his wife before making his final decisions, they say that they will have a clear statement on Monday. So Jeremy Corbyn has suggested that Keir Starmer's strategy to counter leadership threat is unclear and publicly calling for him to step down. This is like a Bernie Sanders style end game. Obviously, Tommy Robinson told us on the show this week that his days are numbered, and Keir Starmer is going to spend those days worried about Elon Musk posting on X. This is Keir Starmer's biggest concern as his people get mass raped and killed and beheaded, is that Elon Musk posts on X.
Is not who we are in Britain. In Britain, we are reasonable, tolerant people. When we have a terrible case like Henry's case, Henry Novak, we react calmly, as his family have done. When it comes to disgusting images on Grok, we take Grok on and fight, because that's who we are as a country. Jessa Sato is absolutely right in the action that she is taking. Disgusting images were created in her particular case.
He's talking about Grok. Okay. President Trump roasting Keir Starmer to his face. Free speech is very important, and he looks at Keir Starmer.
Today.
Well, free speech is very important. I don't know if you're referring to any place in particular. Perhaps they are, but
we've had free speech for a very, very long time here. So.
What a pig, this guy. What a pig. Keir Starmer to resign on Monday as prime minister, according to The Observer. Starmer has reached the conclusion that his position is no longer tenable. He's out.
Out a timetable for departure, as many are putting it. Got about 100 names on this list. That's about a quarter of all Labour MPs. We take a look at some of the names on this rebel list. Almost all of them are from immediately after those local elections, those awful results last month. First people were people like Clive Lewis from the left of the party. He's a big Burnham backer, never much of a fan of Keir Starmer either. You've also got plenty of people that served under Jeremy Corbyn. John McDonnell, his shadow chancellor, for instance. They might actually be worried that Andy Burnham isn't left-wing enough, if anything. The next group are those who are backing a rival leadership candidate, Miata Farnborough. She resigned as a minister, has been working on policy for Andy Burnham. There's plenty of soft left MPs like her on this list. You've got allies of Wes Streeting in there, though, as well.
British politics is such a joke, dude. I gotta tell you, man, bring back the king. Like, you know, the real king. Several media reports say his resignation will come on Monday. On Monday, says. Important reminder, especially an important reminder here in my little allegory, my little tale up front, is that prime minister also allowed for the gang rapists, 13,000 of them, to go free. Give them a warning, a little slap on the wrist. So this is my entire timeline. What do you think, ladies and gentlemen? Keir Starmer expected to resign on Monday. Thank God. The entire country is in celebration. This is the end of the worst socialist tyrant in British history. If he does resign, they have to have an election. This I do not know. The parliamentary system is very strange to me. But I do know that Tommy Robinson was making a ton of great points on our program earlier this week about what needs to happen next in England. And he is calling for a total and complete uprising. A snap general election is coming very soon, mark my words. Says Andy Burnham must call a general election. If he wants to have an ounce of authority, he should take over for Keir Starmer as prime minister. So hopefully they'll have an election soon. And we know now, if that's the case, what's going to happen. Here's Tommy Robinson, ladies and gentlemen, on what comes next.
Your prime minister is complicit in this. 100%. He covered up and gave warnings to something like 13,000 Muslim rapists. What is your message to Keir Starmer?
Your days are numbered. And look, I don't think so. When you see lots of things happened and lots of things failed here, police failed, government failed. Do you know who else failed? We failed. As a nation, we failed. Now, we lost morality, we lost faith, we lost culture, we lost the church, we lost Jesus, we lost our belief, we lost everything, our identity. And that isn't a mistake. The church, all these things, what I'd say is a successful left-wing revolution. Open border mass immigration, attack the church, attack the family, feminize the man, weaken the man. All these things have happened. Now that left a void, and in that void filled all these barbaric ideas. Yeah, but we as a nation, if we had pride, we wouldn't let any of this happen. As men, we wouldn't let it happen. So we lost ourselves. Yeah, we lost ourselves. Now, what Keir Starmer and what I think people should be looking at Britain and realizing is, Britain's been asleep for 30 years. Britain was paralyzed through fear. Our leaders, but not just our leaders, all of us were. When I started, Benny, you've got my name there as Tommy Robinson. Yeah, my name's not Tommy Robinson. My name's Stephen Lennon. But I used a fake name because I was scared. I wore a mask because I was scared. I didn't want to lose my job. I didn't want to be in that position. So I understand the fear that the public had because I had that fear. I knew they're going to attack you. They're going to want to kill you. I understood the problems of taking on Islam because I'm born in Luton. I get it. Yeah. What I didn't understand was the British state and the lengths it would go to, and the dark side of the British state, and how corrupted it was. So, but what Keir Starmer's government and what the globalists or the elite, whatever word you want to come to for them, need to understand is that a cultural revolution is happening in Britain. A political revolution is happening. People are finding faith. They're finding identity again. Men are becoming strong. Men are meeting. There's a lot happening, Benny, outside of this that I'm watching, and I've waited 15 long bloody years for. Yeah,
please.
I've waited 15 long years for this moment, and I'm looking at it happening. You mentioned before we had millions on the streets. All of these things, unfortunately for us, as a nation that was asleep, all these things had to happen. Like I say in America, you needed Joe Biden for 4 years, yeah, to be able to elect Donald Trump with a mandate where the public support the change that's needed to be brought in, yeah. And we need all this. So Keir Starmer, his days are numbered. Nationalism, patriotism, whatever word you want to come to for it, is accelerating. It's a fire that they're not going to be able to put out.